Millzy, do you or do you not think that Kamigawa was the best set that we've had so far in 2022?
It's the only set that we've had so far in 2022.
Good point. Welcome back to Hometown Commander, a podcast about the format that we all know and love. And hate.
And hate, baby.
You like exhaled and I was like, where's it at? We are currently recording at a whopping, you don't need to know what time. And we...
Don't tell them about what time it is.
I'm not going to tell them what time it is. I'm going to tell them that we have recorded multiple episodes prior to this one. So we are definitely on
I feel like we've become loose cannons when we record multiple episodes in one night.
Exactly. This is why I'm saying this. I just want everybody to know that we are definitely on a nice, good feel.
Let's knock it out, baby. RogueEnergy.com. Head on over there.
Oh, jeez.
Use that code HOMETOWN. All the vitamins you love. None of that yucky sugar. All the caffeine.
You rogued up right now? Is that what you're
I'm
telling me?
not rogued up right now.
Ah, darn you. Anyways, moving on.
I'm lying. I am rogued up.
Oh, yeah.
Use code HOMETOWN, 10% off. Coming over to the Discord channel. We...
please tell us about how we suck at recording podcasts at whopping a time of the night.
Yeah, we've been trying to get better, y'all, but it's okay because what we have been making up for it is our YouTube channel. We're rocking up content over there, and we're going to have more coming up. We're getting all the old episodes posted up there. If you're listening to this on YouTube, welcome. Go check out other videos. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, come on over and check us out on YouTube. We got openings. We got deck text by yours truly. We are actively making content.
Millzy, I feel like we haven't been, active in like the past, I don't know, less than 7 days.
I thought you were gonna be like, Millzy, we haven't been honest with the community, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. I was just like, oh, what are we
telling them?
Haven't we been honest about? This is gonna be good.
I just wanted to say, just because we are the men that we are, happy Easter. We miss the good old times of Easter and whatnot. It's a great time. We both, okay, I don't know about you. You actually seem like you've got it easy Easter weekend. I did not, which I'm glad you got a break, which is good. It's always nice to have a break.
Well, we've never really discussed how much we want to divulge all this on the podcast, so I'll just say that we both are God-fearing men. We both attend church.
Dab on, bro!
So, of course, we both spent the weekend...
at a church.
At church. My bride told me on Friday night that she did not want to serve on Sunday, and I was like, well, I'm not going to get yelled at telling you no. So, sounds good to me.
I'm rolling with it, yeah.
Because, happy wife, happy life. So I was like, yep, you got it.
Me, on the other hand, our church has 4 services, I know. Oh, my gosh. Why would you tell us that? We don't really care. That just means I was at every service doing something. 1 on Saturday and 3 on Sunday. It was really tiring, but it was really worth it, I think. I think a lot of people left happy. I think a lot of people were very positive, and that's all I really, care about personally. If I can make somebody's day, make them feel a little bit more positive about just anything, I feel like I'm doing my job.
And that's what we want from our community, right?
Yeah.
That people come to our content to have a good time, to get new ideas, to enjoy this game like we enjoy this game. And hopefully we can make you happier just like this game makes us happier.
Exactly. And that's kind of where I wanted to start with the whole thing. Just like I said, happy Easter. Hope everybody had a great time. Whether you just spent with family, whether you went to a church or not, I don't care. Do what you want, man. I'm not going to
So I did like the most peak white person thing on Sunday.
Oh, gosh. Did you buy an Easter basket from Target?
How did you? No, I'm just kidding. Sunday morning we wake up. My wife's like, I didn't buy anything for Easter dinner. I was like, okay, well, we can either get something on the way home, or we can just go out to lunch. It's your choice. And she's like, all right, I'll let you know. She's like, I want to go out to lunch. And I'm like, well, your options are limited. It's Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, on Easter, yeah.
On Easter, you only have so many options.
Chick-fil-A's definitely out. Oops.
and I was like, well, what do you want to do? And she's like, I kind of want to go to Cracker Barrel. I'm like, that's peak white people at Easter. Just peak value.
It makes me want to go back to marriage night when Michael Jr. was like, all right, I got this joke. I want to open up African American borough up north. I was just like, oh no.
So, yeah, I mean, I say that jokingly, like, we're both middle class white people. We
are white men.
We understand. But,
and this is how we get canceled immediately.
Yeah. Hometown Commander survived 35 episodes until he got canceled.
Yikes.
No, but we'll both admit, it seems like March was a very busy month for you and us both. And
April's
been okay so far, and
been super busy for me.
We've done our best, but you know what? We have poured our love into the YouTube channel to try to get it up and going to help give you guys at least something in the meantime.
And it's only going to get better for sure. I mean, we have the summer months around the corner. I've already spilled my guts about being a PE teacher at an elementary school, so that means I'll have those days mostly off, and I'll have more time to invest into this wonderful thing that I love and I want to put more passion and love into. I'm in the process of moving right now. My wife, if you're listening, I love you, and your ideas are amazing. No, and I'm excited. I really am.
He means that though.
And I'm excited though. I'm excited to move.
If our robot overlords are listening, we love you too.
I guess. But I'm in the process of moving, and I think that's going to be a lot more beneficial for us as a partnership and
it's going to cut down. So to put back the curtain, the distance we live apart, you're going to cut probably in half.
Oh, for sure. Like the 45 minutes that it took me to get here will turn to like 20, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, we hope that you guys as the listeners understand that, like,
we're humans.
At the end of the day, we have lives too. We want to make this content, and until the day that one of us can quit our jobs and do this full time, this has to be a second priority to life and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
we both really enjoy this, and I think it's really cool that we get to do this episode today, which is kind of marking the end of the first full set that we got to do as a podcast. So our podcast started before Kamigawa released.
Kamigawa.
We did the pre-release together. We did an episode about that. We got to open up our boxes together.
We really got to enjoy this set fully, not just as players, as hobbyists and whatnot, as friends. We're friends. But also just like...
I guess.
Well, I leave. But also, yes, as a podcast, we got to record around a lot of the stuff. We got to bring some cool content for you guys. But also, not also just for you guys, but also for ourselves. I think both Millzy and I can agree that we really, really enjoyed talking about this set and putting it on a microphone and just blabbering on for an hour or so. And we hope that you have enjoyed listening to it. Kamigawa was a really cool set that will probably be ingrained in my head for at least 4 weeks. Then I'll probably forget about it. No, I'm kidding. It definitely sparked 2 deck ideas for me. I'm pretty sure it refined a good deck for you. I think it brought together another deck that you were like, okay.
So when we get to that point, I will publicly admit and eat my crow for that.
Yeah, yes. For sure. No, but I mean, that's the thing is, I think this set was fun. It was really cool to start out the new year with. It gave those players of old really cool nostalgia vibes, I think. If you've been playing longer than 15 years, good on you. And I think a lot of people really enjoyed it because of that, and it really brought this new wave of fun mechanics to an old set or an old setting that...
But in a new way.
Yeah, it was just so... I don't know. It's just like it's old but new.
This is the set that I've drafted the most on Arena in the last little bit, and I've very much enjoyed the hodgepodge that can be Kamigawa draft. I'm very excited to... we haven't talked about it very much, but I've definitely been trying my hand a lot at playing a lot of Brawl and Historic Brawl and Arena, which has been a ton of fun. Kind of like Mini Commander, which has been cool. But
which is actually different from Mini Commander, but that's beside the point.
Well, Mikey, we're here tonight because we are dawning the end of the...
It's a dawn of an era.
I would jokingly say it's the end of when people stopped caring about Kamigawa, but that was about 2 weeks ago when spoilers started for Capenna. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I you look at any Reddit page now, it's nothing but Capenna, and then actually now it's just Capenna Legend.
Give it like 3 weeks and it'll be Capenna Legends.
3 weeks, I give it like 1.
But we just wanted to... I called this idea a retrospective. We just kind of wanted to talk about our experience with Neon Dynasty, whether it's brewing on our own, maybe our experiences with head-to-head, what we liked, what we didn't like, what decks surprised us, what decks didn't do as well as we thought they would, maybe what we tested and liked, what we tested and what we didn't like, maybe our favorite cards, and just kind of to be honest, close the book on Kamigawa on our podcast. Not that we'll never come back into another Kamigawa commander.
Nope, we're done. Screw it. I don't want to come back to this crappy set.
We have a list. We have a list that I jokingly like to call the on deck list. That's our list of commanders that we'd ever like to come back to, provided we ever have the time to do head-to-head episodes on. So there's plenty of these commanders that got added to that list. But Mikey, let's start off with because I'm a realist and a pessimist to heart. Let's start off with, what are the commanders that you were stoked about for Kamigawa that did not pan out the way you thought they would?
Hinata.
Hinata Dawn Crown. That's where we're starting.
100%. I built so many lists around this. You have no idea. I built so many lists around this because Jeskai is one of my favorite color combinations. And maybe that's what I built. You know what? Screw it. I'm building Jeskai dragons. No, I built a list around it, and I just kept seeing it flop on paper, and I was just like, meh, whatever. And then no one in our play group and nobody I've seen since we played Kamigawa has built around it, which has been kind of strange. I feel like it's a decent kind of commander.
I think if Kaikar didn't exist as a deck for me, I probably would have messed around with it.
And yeah, that's what it is. I think it just falls too far behind Kaikar. So that's just one out of a few that I could mention.
I gotta swallow this loss, guys.
Oh, yummy.
The Toad Boy did not do what I thought it was going to do.
That's naughty.
The more I played the deck, the more I realized that it is not the enchantment commander that I want. I found more love in Sithis and the other enchantment lists that I have. We'll talk about my favorite, newer version of enchantment lists that I got out of this set when we talk about our wins. But Tatsunari, we built the deck for the head-to-head episode, and I did it. I tried it at the table, and it just never wowed me like I expected it to, and that's okay. I mean, I think we have to accept the fact that there's going to be commanders that look really great from across the room, but then when you get up there, it's just
it ain't it. Chief. That's a foot with hair.
It ain't it, Chief. You know what I mean? As far as like our head-to-head episodes go, I want to love Chishiro with everything inside of me. I love it as a commander. I love the strategy.
Dude, it's really strong. Every time I see it, it's pushing the advantage.
I just don't love the list. I don't. I think the problem is
You like Gruul in a different way.
I think the problem is that I have too many ideas.
7 Gruul decks.
Too many ideas for Gruul in the first place. But Chishiro is cool. I think it's a deck that definitely will sit in the test box and maybe get improved over time. It's definitely not gone, but it definitely... It's kind of sitting in the same area for me as my Tovalar list, where it's like, I love it, I just can't figure out why I can't get it past that point.
Interesting. Any specific cards you think flopped? Because I have like 5 off the top of my head. That's why I said this.
For Kamigawa in general?
Yeah, like you've thrown it into a list and you're just like, good lord, this doesn't do what I want it to do. Why did I even consider this? Because I'll tell you right now, Satoru, get that guy out of here.
Yeah, I'll be honest. You know that I wasn't like huge on the ninjas to begin with, so.
Well, yeah, no, I was the one that built the ninjas list, but like he does not do what I want him to do. Poor guy.
I would say that the March cycle was worse than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. I still like Swirling Mist, and I still like Reckless Joy. Swirling Mist, and the white one.
Yeah, I think that's Reckless Joy.
I think it's the red one. But anyway, I like the white and the blue ones a lot. The red and the black ones are okay, but they definitely were not as good as I thought they were going to be. And the white and the green one is the lolcow of the week as far as Commander goes.
I was about to say, the green was only good in one format, and we don't play that.
I do love Swirling Mist. It's definitely still my favorite of them. I would just say maybe the red one, I tried it in Prosper, and it seemed to do nothing actively. But that's okay. I mean, I think that's to be expected. Not every card can be a winner. I loved Tezzeret Betrayer of Flesh in a vehicles list, but I tried it in my Alayla general, artifacts focus list, and the Tezzeret Artifice Master just blew it out of the water. It did. Betrayer Fresh just never seemed to do enough in that deck to be worth it over Artifice Master.
Can I make the hottest of hot takes?
Oh, come on now.
I think the rares were so outshined by the commons and uncommons in the set. Because you look at the sagas, mostly uncommons. And those are the people that were playing. You look at the shrines, mostly in the uncommons. There's an enchantment that's in Gruul that I think goes in every single...
Invigorating Hot Springs is like the win. One of the wins from the set.
And that is an uncommon, correct?
It is. Yeah, so, I agree.
I think the uncommons, maybe not the commons as well, but the uncommons for sure.
I would say the bomb rares are better than the bomb... Like, the best rares and mythics are better than the best uncommons, but I would say across the board, some of those commons and uncommons are better than, like, the kind of the miss rares.
What are the bomb rares? I mean, you have, like, Invoke Calamity, but, I mean...
Jin-Gitaxias.
Oh, well, we don't talk about him.
Wandering Emperor.
Do you really think the Wandering Emperor is that good? Like,
I mean, Commander, no.
Okay, that's why I was like, that's... Okay, well, yeah, that's what... I think that's what I'm kind of getting at, is in Commander, I think the uncommons are better than the rares. For sure, because I mean, I would rather play.
I won't mention the land cycle that you jokingly told me not to mention, but
well, those are good considerables that I think are perfect examples of where the rares shined through that land cycle. I think that really saves this set from being just meh.
I mean, Fabled Mirror Breakers, a second copy, Kiki Jiki.
Gross. Get out of here. We don't talk about Bruno.
Duke Shigeki has already kind of shown that its channel ability can be really good for recycling value. You know what? I agree, but I think the problem with that statement is that it's strategy dependent.
Yeah. Okay. True.
For some strategies, no, you're 100% right. Like Michiko's Reign of Truth is a bomb.
Oh, yeah.
In an enchantment deck. But at the same
Farewell is hilariously good.
But at the same time, like Farewell is one of the best board wipes you've ever seen. So I think you have to kind of qualify that statement with the context we're talking about it in. I don't think we've seen the good that like Lion Sash and the Reality Chip have done, or like Lizard Blades. Like I think they're such good cards, we just haven't got to see them yet in Commander yet. And I think especially Reality Chip and Lion Sash will get there.
Yeah.
We just have yet to see them yet. So I think it's tough to make a rash judgment, but I'm inclined to agree.
Okay.
So, Mikey, let's talk about the decks that succeeded, our wins. What were your wins? What were the decks that you really enjoyed from Kamigawa? Now, this can either be a Kamigawa commander that made you build a list, or that made you build a list of that commander, or Kamigawa cards that made a previous deck better.
Well, I mentioned this before you recorded. My first deck I can talk about is Yuriko. I saw Kamigawa coming up, and I was like, what is a commander I can build around this set? I usually try to build around a set every single time one comes out, just because I can connect with that set more via the strategy I'm building around. So I chose ninjas. I chose a second strategy afterwards, but I can talk about that in a second. But I chose ninjas first. I liked when I saw Satoru for the first time, I was like, yes, this boy, I think he's really good. And then I saw like Silver Fur Master. I think he's also just a beautiful piece of machinery that I really, really enjoy playing. And those are just two cards that really like kind of sparked me to go, yes, definitely a theme I want to build around. And it has done really well. I still try to keep it as a budget deck as much as possible because I think that's just really fun to play around with. Yuriko herself, I think, is just strong when you slam the right strategy in there, which is fine. It is what it is kind of thing. But I just like giving myself the challenge of like being under $100 still. And the cards really kind of flux in my favor that way because a lot of them lost their value, which is great. So I don't have to worry about the cards being super expensive and my budget going wazooks. I think right now that deck sits at 102 because I need to change out one card. So, yeah. But no, I love ninjas. I've loved playing it so far. I think it will continue to go forward. And the reason why I think it'll go forward is because the big payoff, of course, is trying to pull off those big mana spells that do damage to face. Yep. And as long as those mana spells stay On the cheaper end, which most of them have in the recent times, except for Jimmy Boy.
Jimmy G.
Oh, Jimmy G. Not the one for the San Francisco 49ers, guys. No, I think that payoff, though, is just really strong. Again, to go back, since I'm looking right at him, Mr. Umezawa, I think I've seen this deck, or excuse me, there's a guy that I play with named Josh. He plays a straight-up Umezawa commander, Umezawa deck as the commander, and his strategy isn't necessarily ninjaing, but ninjutsuing in to kind of like steal creatures, like ETB steal creature kind of thing. And I think it's really interesting because he can really kind of get the right card in his hand at the right time. That and a Yuriko deck, unfortunately, doesn't put the right card I want on top, because if I just have that out and I'm hitting with a ninja, then I screw myself if I've scryed the perfect card on top. So
you kind of need, and the problem with your budget is Satoru would do a good job if you could play with Scroll Rack. If you could play around with Scroll Rack, but unfortunately you can't with the budget that you're running on.
No,
Scroll Rack would be almost your entire budget. So.
Yeah, exactly. Been considered for sure. Definitely threw it in the...
if you just had to make a $200 limit,
I was about to say,
you could add Scroll Rack.
Definitely threw it in the sideboard for sure. No, but I love the deck. I love playing ninjas. I got to play it not too long ago, and the person I was playing against, Braden, when you're listening to this, I'm sorry, I love you, buddy. He literally was like, I'm getting annoyed with this deck, and I was like, okay, I'll stop playing it. Because it's just one of those decks that doesn't have like the biggest win con. That's very showy, but its win con is just...
Well, you know I love it because it's aggressive. You know,
exactly.
So I don't mind playing against it.
Yeah, I love doing 10 damage to one person and like maybe 8 damage across the table.
Yeah.
So that's great. Yeah. What about you, Dex?
I mean, the biggest one of this set was clear, and that was Shrines. You know, I had a Sisei Shrines list that I was rocking for a while, and I have to say I was honestly down on Goshintai at first. When I first read it, I was like, yeah, it's good, but like, is it better than Sisei? And the more I play the deck, the more it's better than Sisei. I have seen that deck pop off way too fast.
Yeah, it hurts.
It's crazy, and I've loved it. It's now physically built, and I'm having a very good time. It's my 5-color deck, and it's patiently awaiting our new 5 triomes from Capenna.
Yay.
But I have to say, it made the Shrines better, and I actually learned a lesson of definitely tipping it more towards the Enchantress, draw type effects that I definitely avoided before. Because, I don't have that search in the command zone anymore. Now it's about playing them. So I need those cantrips. I need that, that recurring value. And I think I definitely found it. I also added stuff like, Doomwake Giant and those Constellation payoffs that just help a ton. Because remember, Constellation is when an enchantment enters the battlefield, not when you cast it. So those Shrine tokens are enchantments, and so it kind of benefits that Constellation strategy a ton. So
and you've been looking for, and you said this actually in a video, you've been looking for a way to play Doomwake Giant, and I'm glad that you found that too. Like, I think it's awesome that
it is definitely a combo enabler. I mean, you in one turn you can drop 4 or 5 enchantments in and probably nuke a board.
Right.
So it's definitely really good. I think the Shrine deck will continue to get better. I really, to be honest, of all the decks that I built or seriously finished during Kamigawa, it was the deck that's kind of got played the least. So I do need to play it some more. I'm hoping that some of our cards, hopefully we get over the next few months with Capenna and Commander Legends 2, hopefully that will kind of push the deck forwards. I'm very excited for the Reflecting Pool reprint in Commander Legends 2. I think it's going to help the deck a ton. 5-color mana basis can be very difficult.
I don't know what you're talking about.
My other win, I would say, from this set is not a specific card, but a set of cards, and that is Jimmy G and some of the higher mana cards from this set. Jimmy G, Colossal Sky Turtle, and...
Are you talking about cards that go in Emoti?
I am.
How dare you?
So Emoti's definitely Emoti Crescent Bounty of Crescent, one of the two. as a deck that I just have recently put together. It cares about casting big spells and cascading.
We jokingly call it Emoti Big Butts.
It is, because it plays a lot of big creatures, but it benefited a lot from the channel cards. So, of course, Colossal Sky Turtle's 7 mana, but it channels to either get a card back from your graveyard or counter a spell, which is huge. That's a big thing that makes multiple things. I didn't fit Mirror Shell Crab in there because it kind of feels bad in the spot, but Jimmy G does a really good job in that, and I like the deck because it plays a lot of just big things. And
that Cascade payoff is so gross. Like,
it is
casting something and then just...
It's been a fun deck to play. I just think Jin-Kataxis was a good payoff for the deck, because I have played games where you slam Jin-Kataxis onto the battlefield and your opponents all go, oh, well, okay, so the game's over. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, quite literally, yeah.
The amount you have to pay for getting rid of it is just immense. But that's what I would say. That's my example of Kamigawa cards kind of benefiting a deck. But I have to eat my crow and say that as much as I've given Ishin, Two Heavens is one, some crap for what I think of it as a character, him as a character, the deck is a ton of fun to play.
Yeah.
As an aggressive player, it is everything I want from Mardu midrange, and it is a ton of fun.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to one of the episodes. I think it was our Ishin episode. We did an Ishin episode.
We did, yeah. It's actually where my list started, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to have to go back and listen to it, because I think at the end of it I said that Ishin will be like the number 1 or number 2 Mardu commander very, very soon. Now, he probably won't be number 1 because Edgar is annoying.
So let's take the litmus test.
Oh, goodness gracious, here we are. Here we are.
Litmus test. So as of April 19th, 2022.
I'm going to laugh if he's not. Yeah. Oh, I forget Kali.
He's number 4. Behind Edgar Markov, Kali of the Vast, and Queen Marchesa. But it's going up. Yeah. I mean, it just barely passed Gwyn.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I still think so. I think it's still going to be number 1 or number 2. I just think it does what Mardu wants to do. I think Edgar does what a vampire wants to do. And I think it's just easy to build around Edgar, just like it's easy to build around anything with Imminence. But... no offense to anybody.
Of the top 10, to be honest, it's the second best Mardu commander, in my opinion.
You think Kali is number 1?
Kali is obviously number 1.
Yeah.
If you've never played a good Kali deck, you've never played Commander. I mean, when you get smacked in the mouth by a good Kali deck, you will understand why Kali is good.
I don't think I want to touch that, because I don't want to be rude to people.
I seen someone turn 4, put the Greaves on it, and swing with it when it came down.
Oh.
Drop a Terror of the Peaks.
Oh.
And then turn 5, swing again, and drop like a Razaketh and deal like no. It was like, oh
my
no.
Gosh.
It's a gross deck.
So anyway,
listen,
Queen Marchesa.
We have talked multiple times about Markov. I'm actually not afraid of Markov.
No, I'm not either.
I think, I mean, it's a white weenies deck in Commander. In all reality, it goes wide. That's what it does.
It really
if you can outlast it going wide, it's not going to do anything.
No.
Marchesa is the literal queen of politics in Commander. Nice. If you can play the politics right, she's a fantastic commander.
Yeah,
but
sure.
The rest of the other 3, in my opinion, just are stronger. They just have more upside.
Yeah. No, I will go back to it. I think Ishin has so much payoff, and it wants to do what Marty wants to do in a great way. I always look at like Alicia, who smiles at death, and I guess I have that favoritism towards her because she was from Fate Reforged, which is from Tarkir. But I like what she does. But I think Ishin kind of like pushes something like that kind of strategy. It also pushes something like maybe even something next to him, which is Gwyn, because of Gwyn's. No, she's only caring about equipment. Never mind, I can't remember who I'm thinking of now.
Well, my thing with Alicia is, you gotta remember that there are so many black creatures that do that ability, and you get them twice.
Yeah.
Think about like Drana from Zendikar Rising.
Mm-hmm.
You get that twice. You think about if you're playing Olivia Crimson Bride, you would get it twice.
Yeah.
There's so many other things that you can do with it that just, to me, my problem with Ishin is it's almost
it has to be your commander if you're wanting to play something in red or black or red and white.
It's not as fast as Winota.
No, it's not.
But I like it because it's kind of the mid-range Winota. It's not as aggro. It's not as turn and burn by turn 6, otherwise you're dead. But it's one of those decks that if you don't get rid of any... The problem most time isn't even Ishin. It's the payoffs that Ishin doubles.
Yeah.
It's the Mardu Ascendancy. It's the Adelines of the world that if you don't get rid of them, you're just dead.
It's if you have Winota in the deck as well.
I do put her in there, although she, to be honest, isn't as much of an all-star as you'd expect her to be.
No, because I think more of the Mardu things that have payoffs are more human focused. Like you're playing. And
remember, if you get double the Winota triggers, but when the humans come down, they don't get their abilities doubled.
True.
They're just creatures, but
true.
You still have the chance of winning on one attack.
Yeah.
No, I think Ishin. One of our friends in our play group plays it, and I have enjoyed playing against his list, but I chose to spice mine up a little bit. I put Nadar and Triumphant Adventurer from AFR to get a little bit of venture in there, which I think is cool.
Heck yeah.
I've tried my best to play around with some original cons cards that make tokens, which is cool.
Man.
I might get to take advantage of... I think there's like 1 or 2 of the Blitz creatures that have attack effects, so maybe I can work those in there. But
Yay, Blitz.
No, Ishin, as much as I think, and I will still stand by the fact that he is literally animevillain.jpg.
I agree.
I do enjoy him as a commander, and I'll be honest, he's probably the Mardu commander I was waiting for.
He definitely, I agree. I think he is definitely one that, if you want to play Mardu, definitely consider him. He is a huge win from this set. I don't think that there's a lot of there's not a lot of 3-color commanders from this set in general. I mean, between him and Tatsunari, I don't remember anybody else. But anyways, beside the point, he's definitely really, really huge for what he does.
So do you have any more, Mikey, do you have any more commanders you want to talk about? I mean, I think you have yet to hit the one strategy that I know you've been working a ton on.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, the one deck...
Although the choice you ended up on is not a Kamigawa commander.
True. Okay, so when we did a head-to-head over vehicles, which I'm going to talk about, we talked about 2 legendary creatures that we both love. You love both of them. I will now probably love both of them.
Well, I have decks for both of them. Now, neither of them are vehicles based, nor do any of them play any vehicles. But
so we talked about Alayla and Kaikar. I looked at both of them. Highly consider both of them. I like what Black has brought from Kamigawa to the vehicle strategy. I think it's really, really interesting, especially with Greasefang. I think it just adds a lot of potential that could continue to just push forward. And I'm excited to see where a lot of these new sets are going. I keep seeing more vehicles in Capenna, which gives me more hope for more vehicles down the road for the rest of the year. But I landed on probably the best artifact commander that we have. That is not a monocolor commander, because I ain't gonna talk about that dumb piece of garbage.
Burn them all.
Burn them all.
Burn the witch.
But I looked at Bria, and she covers all the colors for. Oh, and you shake your head. Why do you shake your head?
No, it's just how good it is. I remember talking to you the one day we were talking about the vehicles, and I'm just like, I think Brea is your answer, because she combines everything that's good about the Kaikar list, and everything that's good about the Alayla list, and everything that's good about the Greasefang list, and everything that's good about your Azorius list all into one.
Yep.
She herself pays off.
Yeah, she just makes the artifacts do different things, and what she really does for me is just add those 4 colors together into a nice little piece of pie that I'm gonna like. I really won't be worried about her, which I am gonna love, because she's not going to be the focal point here. It's really going to be the vehicles and what they can do, and how I can. I
just like that. Basically, your Brea deck is going to have 6 commanders.
Yeah.
It's going to have Shorokai. It's going to have Katori. It's going to have Alayla. It's going to have Kaikar. It's going to have Greasefang. It's going to have Brea. You're literally just going to have like this.
My creatures are just going to be like my mini manders.
It's just going to be this like X-Men team of commanders that's basically going to.
Oh, don't we get canceled?
And that's what I think I told you. That's what I liked about Brea was I was like, man, if you can make it work, I feel like it's going to push your vehicles forward, because you're not. You think about what you think about the benefits that you get in like Kaikar over Alayla and Alayla over Kaikar, and now you just get to smash them together.
Yep. And if I get to play, a Layla in one game and Kaikar in the next, I'm still going to see value from both. And when I play Bria, I think it's just going to be amazing.
I think your mana base just gets more consistent too.
It does, for sure. I thought about
Becomes
that.
more expensive, but it becomes
But I think I definitely have put that together. So yeah, I'm excited. I love the mechs that we got in Kamigawa. I'm a huge Gundam fan. Or I can't say huge, but I'm a pretty big Gundam fan. I love watching those animes. And I really, really enjoy what they do and what they bring to my deck.
Well, for the record, we are recording this episode just after we've seen the rest of the Capenna cards.
Yes.
And we are seeing a couple of vehicles in Capenna.
Yes.
So it's not like your vehicle train has just stopped.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
yes.
it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I keep seeing more vehicles in Capenna, so it gives me hope that maybe we'll see 1 or 2 in Capenna Legends, maybe we'll see 1 to 2 in Dominaria. And I mean, even if there's just some wonky looking thing, I mean, it's probably going to add value. I mean, dude, there's a train from
Choo-choo.
Where is it from? What's the
Kaladesh? I love that train.
Yeah, there's a few trains from there that I'm like, I really want to play them because they're trains. But that's what's really funny, I think, about that deck, the vehicles deck, is the vehicles themselves, other than like 3 of them. 3 of them have to go in the deck. And that's like Parhelion, Heart of Kirin, and I can't remember the name of it. It doesn't matter. But those are like the main 3 that I have to really play. And the rest of them, they can be whatever, really, because they're just gonna be awesome because they're vehicles and they do stuff. So I mean, that's what's really fun about it, is I can kind of maybe do a rotation or maybe play around with these types of vehicles over these types of vehicles more. I don't know. There's just a lot of fun things to do with it. I've seen one of the white flying mechs that goes and get me a land. I've seen that pay off way too many times, and I think that's just great. So
what I love about this 4-color idea is you get like Saheeli from the red blue stuff to make you Thopters every time you play spells, but then you also get like the Thopter Sky networks, and you also
Thopter Pi network.
But Thopter Pi network, yeah. And you also
I hope I'm buying it just to play it.
And you also get like you get what I kind of view about Bray is you get what makes Kaikar good plus all the black support, Yeah. And to me, it just becomes better and better. I even told you, I said that's probably the peak as far as vehicles can go. Not 5-color, because I honestly don't, even though we've seen 1 green vehicle in Capenna, it's not even that good, to be honest. And it's not worth the...
I just love the name, honestly, of that card, Jalopy.
The Jalopy.
Jalopy, yeah.
All right, so I can't think of any other decks that I would say that like...
Came out of this?
That Dynasty has like really, really, really changed.
I thought
the special note is going to be Sithis. Michiko's and a lot of the enchantment support in this deck did make it slightly better, but I can't say it made that deck. I would just say that stuff like Michiko's and Jukai Naturalist and Shigeki just help the deck get better, but I'm not going to say that they made the deck. I mean, the deck was good before them. They're just really good adds. Kura and Atsushi are 2 really good adds to Klauth. They're both great players in that deck. Kura is also great in Goreclaw, but it doesn't make that deck.
No.
Winota did get a few ads in this set, primarily being like Iganjo Uprising, but it didn't make the deck. You know what I mean? They're just... What I like about this set is it had a lot of really good ads to my main decks across the board. 1 or 2 good cards that feel like they really push the strategy forward.
I added Invoke Calamity to Mono Red Torbrand, burning things and whatnot. Of course, I want to bring back some spells and hit somebody with them, whatever they may be. And I think... I was gonna continue to go. I guess
I'm gonna drop a hint. We'll get to see Raichu again soon in a future list.
Well, I was about to say,
wink, wink,
the
nudge,
Thundering
nudge.
Raichu. I think we can go into some certain cards that really, really helped us. Thundering Raichu, however you want to say it, I think is one of those cards that is just incredible in of itself. I like it in almost any red strategy. I say almost because I don't think it goes in like a red-blue strategy, but I think it just does what you want it to do out of your red. Giving somebody more power and then also just hitting hard because of that payoff. I think it's just great. It has haste when it comes down for 4 mana. I think that's not bad. You can give that counter to any creature, so it doesn't have to be somebody else. It can be the Raichu himself. Now, granted, he doesn't get to do the damage off of himself. He has to do it off of somebody else. But that's okay. You can still just make him huge if you wanted to, and just hit for 5 next.
I think Raichu is going to become one of those really good mid-range red creatures.
Yep.
This is an all-star in a commander that wasn't in this set, but was in a set previous. Like, this is an all-star in a Xenagos or a Halan and Elena.
I was about to say I want to
list.
put him in a Zygos.
Like a Halan and Elena, like a Xenagos focus list. This is an all-star, and it's going to sit in that mid-range, and it's going to do a bunch of good when it comes down, and it's going to do good the turn it comes down, which is huge.
Making a Xenagos creatures only deck.
I'm trying to pick like my favorite individual card because, to be honest, I go back and forth on it because there's a lot of really great cards in this set. I really like Fable the Mirror Breaker, our Kiki Jiki clone. Mm-hmm. I think the front side of it just does a lot of good, even in like a red mid-range deck. And then the back side is just another Kiki Jiki, which Kiki Jiki is one of the most well-known red creatures in our format as far as what it can do for combo potential. You have another one here. The only difference is this one actually costs mana to use, so it's not as broken as Kiki Jiki is.
But it can be.
but it certainly can try. It also doesn't have haste when it flips over, whereas Kiki Jiki does have haste when it comes in.
What? When it flips over, doesn't it? It just flips over, right?
No, but it leaves the battlefield and comes back in.
It does exile and then come back. That's right.
Yeah. One of the cards I am intrigued to see how it does in Commander is Brilliant Restoration. It's our 7-mana white spell. It says return all artifact and enchantment cards from all graveyards from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good top-end card for like any of your artifact or enchantment strategies because it kind of can just kind of recover you from any, I think one of the most punishing board wipes in our format is Ruinous Ultimatum, just destroying all non-land permanents, the stuff that just wipe out all non-land permanents. And sure, creatures are what they are, but sometimes artifacts and enchantments can be really tough to get back.
Yep.
And so I like to fit. Now, we have access to the best version of this card, which is Replenish, which is 4 mana, but it's about a $200 card, so I understand why most people don't play it. I think this is a decent substitution. This is better than Open the Vaults and stuff like that because those bring back from all graveyards. This only brings back your graveyard.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes it really good, and I think gives a lot of upside. The card I don't think a lot of people talk about because it feels like tribal decks are kind of like hit and miss in Commander these days, is Secluded Courtyard, which is literally a better reprint of Unclaimed Territory from Ixalan. So now you have access to 2 lands that will give you any color as long as you're casting a tribe of your choice.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. It's an uncommon. It kind of snuck in.
I think the other land, the mech hanger.
Mech hanger, yep.
It's also really good.
For sure. I mean, I really like Michiko's Reign of Truth because in any enchantment or artifact list, if you care about both, especially in a commander where you're playing both, Michiko's is a bomb. Coming down and giving something probably plus 6 or 7, depending on how your list is set up or how you're setting your board up, is going to do a bunch of good. And then it flips over and becomes an XX, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments. So it just flips over and becomes a big creature.
I think Goro Goro is definitely a card that should really see some play more often than none. I know it's kind of expensive to pay for getting into the combat, and I believe you only get it once per turn. Is that correct or no?
It's just activate only if you control an attacking creature. You could make it you can do it multiple times. You just have to satisfy that condition. But right. I mean, 5 mana is a lot to make a 5/5 token in like a mono red deck. Of course, in any 2-color deck,
for sure.
You'd certainly.
I don't think
okay.
I'd play him as a commander, no. But actually, I don't think he was the one I was thinking about. Actually, now that I think about it, I was thinking of the Aki boy.
Oh yeah.
If you get to swing again, more or less, with the Aki dude. I don't remember his actual name. I think he's in the commander version of.
No, I think the Invoke cycle is definitely really interesting.
Yeah.
I think Invoke Calamity is probably the best in my opinion.
Yeah.
As far as being, in all reality, kind of a smaller version of Mythic's Mastery, plus a smaller version of. It's like a smaller version of Mythic's Mastery that can do a lot of good. I've more often than not cast it to like recast a Jessica's Will, and you just end up shooting up in mana, which I think is really good. I just like all of the sagas. Most of the sagas from this set are very good.
They're all hilarious.
The one card I have yet to use that I'm trying to find a space for is Light Paws.
Yeah.
Emperor's Voice. She seems kind of cool. She seems like she has a good upside. The problem is she just doesn't fit in Sithis because everything's on cast. So unfortunately, you just don't get as much benefit as I would have hoped. Now I know that you're gonna grief at me here a little bit, but I want to quickly talk about the land cycle, the rare lands.
No, yeah, you're fine. Yeah,
because I think they're really important.
They're good. They're really good.
As much as I do truly believe that Boseiju and Otawara are staples in their colors in Commander because of the upside that they both have, I think all 5 are good. We talked about in our kind of thoughts before the set what we thought of them, and I think I stand firm by Takenuma being an all-star in Grave strategies, Sokenzan being an all-star in token strategies, and Aiganjo still probably being playable in any mono white list, but after you get out of a 1-color list up to 2, I don't think it's as playable.
I think we ranked them like the green. It was like green, blue, black, red, white, and I think we should still stand by that.
I do, because I think that Takenuma is more applicable than Sokenzan is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think there's more graveyard decks than there are decks that can take advantage of 2 tokens for 1 red mana. So I think so. I just think Otawara is anytime you can get a bounce on a land, especially something that doesn't use the stack, which is huge, because there's so many stacks pieces in Commander, and you now have lands that can get around that. Boseiju gets around it. All 5 of them using their channel ability get around like Deafening Silence or Archon of Emiria or all of these cards that limit how many spells you can cast. So I think they're really important. I don't know that we'll see the importance of them yet because not all of them are absolute slam dunks,
Yeah.
But I think we'll see the rise of them being played over time. We'll see more people playing more of them, and I think they'll start to get a little better. If you had to guess, Mikey, if we were to set a reminder for 6 months from today, what do you think the most used card is in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty? Not as a commander, but as a card in the 99. What do you think it would be?
Oof, man.
I'm giving you a cheat shot. I'm giving you a little bit of a cheat sheet right now because this is actually sorted in the amount of decks that's in right now at the moment.
Oh, wow. That's hilarious. I don't want to say Boseiju, but I feel like that is probably the one.
If there's any card that's not going to be a land, it's Farewell.
Yeah. I was going to say Farewell would probably be really, really good in it.
Because it's hard to dethrone Boseiju and Otawara to me. They're both such good lands at what they do. I think if I called it, Farewell will pass Takenuma. I don't think it'll pass those 2 lands, though. This is one of the single best board wipes we've seen in a very long time.
I think it could pass Ottawa, but it won't pass Boseiju. It has the potential to.
Because the problem becomes, is there more white decks that would use it over more blue or green decks, or blue-green decks that would use both of them? That's the true problem.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't see it passing Otawara or Boseiju, because I really truly believe that both of them are now staples in those 2 colors, or when you're including both of them. They are, with the exception of not being able to be searched off of ramp, they are better than a basic land.
That is the only issue I think I have with them. Now there are a few cards where you can go search just land, but you're not really worried about it. If you have it in your hand, awesome. If you don't, it's okay. It's fine.
There's so many ways to get stuff back from your graveyards. You can reuse these. To me, I kind of wish that these weren't the top 2.
I don't either, but just what they give you is ridiculous. Since Boseiju is for what it does and for it to be in green, I don't hate it because it's in the color green, and green does so many different things. But what I do hate it for is there are a lot of cards that say you can play lands from your graveyard. Come and go get lands from your graveyard kind of thing and stuff like that. in green itself, and I think that's where I'm like kind of a little irritated with, because that channel ability is just really, really good.
I don't think you can play it from your graveyard, even though you can play lands from your graveyard.
Why not?
Because you don't channel it as a spell, you channel it as an ability.
No. I'm saying you just play the land back. Like, you do the channel and then you come back.
Okay. Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, you're abusing fetches for the same thing in green, so it's not in most green decks. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like, you get to do the channel ability, then you get to go and do crazy, do crazy stuff. Then you get a land out of it too. It's like, geez, and it doesn't even come in tapped.
I think it's really interesting to look at. So for the listener, we're looking at EDH Rec under the set. If you go to the set, it's going to show you all the commanders, and it's going to show you how many decks currently they all have. But if you scroll down to the cards, it actually shows you how many decks they're in. And I find it really interesting.
You're looking at the same card I'm looking at.
This spread right here.
Yeah.
Particularly this and this, I find. So the two I'm pointing to is Silver for Master, which is a ninja, which is probably going into every single ninja deck that exists.
Yeah, it does.
And then Prodigy's Prototype, which goes into every
vehicle deck, baby.
Jukai Naturalist doesn't surprise me. It's an enchantment payoff. That's an enchantment, so that goes in any enchantment list. The Kami War kind of surprises me.
That surprised me. That one was a huge surprise.
Although I'm realizing this is by...
What is it by?
Oh, okay. So this is by
percentage.
This is by percentage of decks that could play it.
That could play it? Or do you have it in there?
No, that could play it. So it's saying that, but right now, Boseiju is in 35% of the 58,894 decks that could play it.
Good lord.
So Kami is up here because it's in 13% of the 10,000 decks that could play it, which is a pretty low sample size when it comes to the next ones around it that have huge numbers of decks.
Now, I was going to say, most of the time you can look at the percentage and it kind of adds up with the amount of decks that it's in too. But that is one that I've really...
Because remember, Silver for Master is being compared... It's saying it's in 11% of blue-black decks. Not ninja decks. It's in 11% of blue-black decks.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting that we already show that Farewell is in almost 20% of decks that can play it.
Yum. That card is great. I got played that on me, and that hurt because all of my vehicles went...
I love seeing that Invigorating Springs is in 7% of Gruul decks. We need to pump those numbers up.
What about the commander cards? The only commander cards that we got from this set. We haven't talked about those yet. I mean, we talked about Goshintai a little bit. I talked about the Surveyor down there. We don't have to talk about the garbage.
We talked about Chaichiro.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about the
my favorite card we got released, because I feel like I've just scratched the surface of using it, is Drumbellower. I think this is one of those cards that's going to get seen more and more because it's a Seedborn Muse for creatures in white. It's so good. In any token strategy, it's so good.
It's too good.
Untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step. You can literally attack for free and untap all your creatures.
Hey, there might be a certain strategy that you're getting in New Capenna that you're pretty excited about, huh?
No. No, that's crazy.
Scroll up one. There was Silk Guard's probably my favorite card.
Such a fun card.
I think it's great. You get to put +1/+1 counters, and you get to have them be indestructible for a turn. There might be a strategy I'm excited about from Capenna that's coming. And then Kometsu, right there in the middle.
She's interesting.
What a freaking card, dude. That is really, really good. It is a great
I really
card.
like Ruthless Technomancer for the treasure strategies. So when it comes in, you can sack another creature. If you do, you get treasures equal to that creature's power. And then you can pay 2 and a black, sack X artifacts. Don't have to be treasures. And you return target creature with power X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield.
That's pretty great, too.
This I see being a big player in the... Once it catches on, and it will catch on, this is going to be a big player in the Corvold or Prosper treasure lists.
Yeah.
When people start realizing that it's good. No, I love that we got another extra combat creature in Aki Battle Squad.
Aki Battle Squad, yeah. The Kappa Cannoneer, I think a lot of people like it. We are okay with it. We haven't seen it do dumb stuff. The Aura that was next to it, Unquenchable Fury, I think it's really, really strong.
It's really cool. I've been flirting around with it in Ishin because I think it does good work in it.
Yeah. Bulky.
Card I hope I see more of is Access Denied.
Oh, you definitely will, because I'm going to continue to play it in my
We
vehicles
will
list.
see, but I think the one card that I'm slowly working into Sithis is Swift Reconfiguration, the one that makes a creature a vehicle, which can stop a lot of strategies, more than you realize.
Yes, for sure.
But no, I think I would love to, Mikey, as a fun aside. You know, we didn't really get the chance to do any year in review stuff for 2021, mainly because A, you didn't play the whole year, whereas I did, and B, our podcast was out for 25 days when the end of the year hit, so
Hey-o.
wasn't really time. But I think it'd be interesting to write down somewhere, make a document of our favorite cards right now from Kamigawa before the year goes on, and then kind of review them at the end of the year and see whether our opinions stuck or not.
Well, I think we can. I mean, we could write it down for sure, but I think we look at our decks as well, and we see what cards are still in there, and I think that's where we'll really, really kind of bounce that.
Mostly
idea
because we're about to run the actual little gambit of new stuff to come out, you know, with Capenna, and then
What are you talking about?
and then Command Legends Baldur's Gate, and then Domineer United,
No.
and then the Brothers War, and we also do have the Warhammer 40k decks coming out at some point this year.
And Infinity later on.
And that'll be up towards the end of the year, which has been confirmed to have legal cards for Commander.
That is a legal Magic card.
So, guys, I hope that you enjoyed our kind of retrospective for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. You know, this is a set that Mikey and I have had a ton of fun brewing around. It's a set that definitely won't leave our hearts anytime soon. I think this has definitely been a set that I enjoyed getting to experience on the podcast. In all reality, it's our first full set that we got to cover on the podcast, which I think is really cool. You know, we kind of came in part of the way through Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vows. We didn't really get the full experience, but we will. I am very excited that we get to cover the second Commander Legends set as a podcast. I think it's going to be really cool.
I think it's going to be great, even more so than the first one, because, I mean, granted, one, I didn't get to play, but two, I think it's going to be awesome. We're out of that. We're more so out of that pandemic era, so we're not going to be affected by, you know, any repercussions of that era happening. We'll be getting the natural production that we're used to. We'll be getting the excitement that we're used to and whatnot.
You know, Commander Legends 1
old.
was so much a reprint set. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like a half reprint set, half new set for Commander. My hope is we see more new cards in Commander Legends 2, that they really take that namesake Battle for Baldur's Gate to heart, and we just see a lot of what Commander Legends 1 did, which was just inject a bunch of new commanders into the format. I am really excited that Domineer United doesn't come out till like September, because we're going to have all the time in the world to have fun with Commander Legends 2 when it comes out, and we're going to get to really enjoy it, and hopefully we get to, you know, beat it till the wheels fall off, and then we'll come back probably too and grab some Capenna as well, because we won't unfortunately get much time with Capenna before.
I think what's interesting is both you and I are brewing decks already around Capenna strategies, and you know, if you want to tip your hat to it, and I can tip my hat to it, I don't really care.
Yeah, so for Capenna, I mean, my main two that I'm actively working on, we have the Savior of Naya, Jetmir Nexus Rebels, my boy, the Cat Demon. I'm very excited about Jetmir. It's going to be my tokens list. I had been messing around with Geared for a little bit, finally going back to it, and I think Jetmir does everything I want Geared to do, but better.
For sure.
And then I am going to be, well, in all reality, I'll be finishing out Corvold, but that's not really the point. The point of Capenna is I'm going to be brewing around Ogress, the Jund Haste commander, and I'm going to be playing around with basically Jund Haste. I'm excited to play with the Riot mechanic from Ravnica. I get to play some of those creatures, get to play some hasty dragons. We'll get to play... I'm so excited to dump stuff like Rankle from Throne of Eldraine that has haste.
Wow.
I made a small list today at work. I have a lot of ideas at work, so I just make these notes because
here.
Otherwise I'll never actually remember. And the list of fun haste creatures is just a good time. So I'm excited to build that deck. It's going to be very much mid-range, not as much on the aggro. It's going to be a ramp for a couple turns and then just start smacking your opponents. So I'm excited.
Nice. I took a drink at the wrong time. I have been working on a Bant list. I had Chulane at the helm of it for a while, and then I was trying to find a fun strategy for it. I wanted to make it birds tribal because I like birds and whatnot. I think Falco Spara really fits that bill because it's going to go into a fun +1/+1 counters and now a shield counter added to that. Strategy with a nice fogging effect, with a fun commander at the helm with Falco Spara, just being able to cast so many spells in a turn. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun to play. Chulane really helped me cast a bunch of spells, ramp really quickly, and I would have like those 2 turns where you really saw huge value coming out of it. But I think Falco is going to have a more, not necessarily more consistent, but a more payout. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Chulane's hard to kind of debate, but that's beside the point.
I think Falco Spara is, oh man.
Oh, hot take, here it comes.
Oh man. I'm going to get myself in trouble for this opinion. It's not the strictly best band commander. I think Derevi and Chulane are just way too good of commanders in their respective rights. But I'll say, as far as intersection of fun and strength, Falco is tied for the best band commander.
Yeah.
With
Your boy?
my boy Arcades.
Yeah.
Arcades is too much fun. It's such a fun commander when you build it right. But
I'm also going to be working on my own Jund list. I will be working on the new mechanic, Blitz. I think it looks like a lot of fun. I will be using Hansi.
My Agnes deck will use a little bit of Blitz, but not as much as probably the Hansi list, which really cares about Blitz.
Yeah, it'll be my first kind of more, I guess, not necessarily sacrificing kind of deck that really kind of worries about that. It's still playing one of my favorite colors, so I will be really enjoying that kind of payoff. And you never know. You might see a few fun dragons in there, because why not?
So just to recap, for the next week on Friday, we're gonna have our last head-to-head episode before Capenna releases. Next Tuesday, we are going to be releasing some new Capenna side content, and then next Friday, Capenna releases. Go grab a pre-con at your local game store or at your local big box store. Go enjoy the decks that Wizards put together. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're going to be talking about the pre-cons next Tuesday for our side episode. And we are just very excited for Capenna. We're excited to play around with, enjoy it, and also play around with it with our play group as well. Our play group is very excited for this set.
Yeah, we are. We are excited to sit down at the table. We actually have gave ourselves a challenge as a group to just play with the pre-cons for a few games for a whole night. And
I'm very excited about.
I'm very excited about as well. I know both of us have said that we will more than likely buy the main family that we're really excited about, me being the brokers, you being the cabaretti, and then we'll probably both buy the riveteers. But every time, and I hate myself for saying this, but every time I keep looking at that dumb combination of white, blue, and black, I really think that playing the obscure pre-con deck would just be a lot of fun.
Rafine, I'm going to probably mess around in the future. I'll be messing around with some sort of Rafine Flyers list, but it'll be in the future. It's definitely not. I have other lists that are at the top ready to get refined. So
I think if I bought the obscure list, I would literally just push it to the side and then just grab my wonderful orange sleeved Yuriko and just throw it onto the table. Yeah.
Man, there's some really cool stuff in this Capenna set, which I feel like is just like every Magic content creator.exe. But we're excited, and we hope you're excited.
I'm more excited to add what we got from Kamigawa to these new cards that we're getting from Capenna, because I think just meshing sets together to create a really fun strategy is something I haven't done in a while, and I'm really, really excited to see where I as a personal player can push it to go. So be fun. Hope you guys have enjoyed us talking about this, rambling on a little bit. But I also hope you guys have enjoyed Kamigawa as much as we did. And
Both the precons are great. I mean, go pick up one of those
yes,
precons.
please go get any of them.
Both those precons are fantastic, and we played.
Shishiro may be a little bit better, but we're going to talk about that.
I think they're both good, and I think they're both a good time. But as much as we want to talk about Kamigawa forever, we don't have that privilege anymore because it is time for Capenna. We are very excited.
It's time for the families.
And
Vin
we
Diesel.
are very excited to start brewing and having fun with a new set and biding our time until Commander Legends 2.
Not much time until Commander Legends 2.
With that, we will catch you guys later. See you.